Romance of Sui in Tang Dynasties Chapter 2.
Every big scheme has a starting point, and it sounds like this one began right there, in the imperial family. Why was Empress Dugu so important here, and what was her initial feeling about the Crown Prince, Yang?
Well, what's really interesting is that her dislike wasn't just political. It seems it was deeply personal.
Oh.
Yeah, the source says it mainly came from the crown prince being seen as extravagant, and crucially how he favored his concubine, this woman Ayun, over his official wife from the respected Yuan family.
Ah, okay. So a personal slight.
Exactly. That public disregard for traditional values, it created this powerful emotional vulnerability in the empress. And Prince Jin was incredibly quick to spot that and use it. It's kind of a timeless lesson, isn't it? How personal stuff gets weaponized in politics.
Definitely. So knowing how the Empress felt, how did Prince Jin kind of craft his own public image to, take advantage of that and make himself look like the better option?
Oh, he was a master of managing perceptions, absolutely strategic. While the crown prince was, flaunting his wealth and his concubine, Jin cultivated an image that was the complete opposite. He projected this intense frugality and, get this, total devotion to his own wife, consort Xiao. But the text is really clear. This wasn't genuine. It wasn't his true self. It was a temporary putting away, as the text says, of his real desires, purely to get the empress's approval.
So it's just for show.
Totally. It just highlights how, in these high-stakes situations, authenticity often takes a backseat to just seeming aligned with whoever holds the power, right?
And he couldn't really do this in secret, could he? This whole act needed to be seen, amplified somehow. How did the palace grapevine factor into this?
Absolutely critical. The palace grapevine became this unwitting amplifier for his strategy. Those closest to the empress, the eunuchs, the palace maids, they could sense her feelings shifting.
Okay.
The text actually describes them as stealing warmth and sending cold, meaning they'd play up Prince Jin's supposed virtues, downplay his flaws, and do the exact opposite for the crown prince.
So, twisting the narrative.
Completely. Any small mistake by Yang got blown up, while Jin's actual faults were kind of swept under the rug and his tiny good deeds made out to be huge. It shows you the power of that internal rumor mill, It can shape opinions way more than direct arguments sometimes.
Yeah. So it wasn't just them noticing things passively. How did Prince Jin and his wife, consort Xiao, actively sort of encourage this, make sure the right stories got back to the empress?
Oh, they were actively cultivating it. They understood that loyalty often comes from, mutual benefit. Prince Jin and consort Xiao showered gifts and special treatment on the empress's inner circle, the people she trusted.
Ah, buttering them up.
Exactly, making them feel valued, rewarded. And that ensured this constant stream, this chorus of praise for Prince Jin, reached the empress's ears. It created this echo chamber, basically. Everything she heard just reinforced her existing bias.
Clever. Controlling the information without seeming to.
Precisely. It's classic informal influence.
Okay, so the empress is largely convinced, but Jin needed more than just his mother's support. Who was the strategist behind the next stage of this plan, the bigger picture?
That would be Yuan Shu. He was the Anzu commander-in-chief, and apparently he was so famous for his wisdom and strategy that people called him Little Jinping.
Little Jinping, after the Han Dynasty strategist.
That's the one, known for his cunning plans. Yuan Shu was definitely the brains behind the operation here. He came up with this comprehensive plan, which had 3 main parts, 3 prongs of attack to secure the throne for Prince Jin.
3 prongs. Okay, what was the first critical one?
The first was all about solidifying the empress as what the text calls an internal master and Nizu in their plot.
Internal master, meaning?
Basically making sure she wasn't just sympathetic, but an active, trusted player inside the conspiracy. Someone working from within the palace to push their agenda forward.
Got it. And for that, Yuan Shu told Prince Jin to use something called a bitter flesh stratagem.
That sounds dramatic. What did that actually involve?
Oh, it was pure political theater, designed specifically to ramp up the empress's pity for Jin and her anger towards the crown prince, making her more determined to help Jin.
How did he do it?
So when it was time for Prince Jin to head back to his post in Yangzhou, he went to see the empress. He throws himself on the floor, prostrates himself, weeping uncontrollably.
Yeah, really laying it on thick. He claimed the crown prince had this constant fierce anger towards him and wanted to slaughter and trap him, supposedly just because Jin dared to visit his own mother.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. He accused the crown prince of coveting the great position, the throne, and said he was terrified of being framed or even poisoned. calumny leading to death, poison drinks. Those are his words.
That's quite a performance, and I assume it worked. What made her buy into such a dramatic display?
It worked perfectly. And the genius wasn't just the emotion, it was the timing. It landed right when the Empress was already stewing over the Crown Prince's behavior, his spending, his treatment of his wife, everything that offended her values.
Ah, so it confirmed her worst fears.
Exactly. It tapped right into her existing resentment. She was apparently enraged. She reassured Jin, told him to go back to Yangzhou safely, but not to come back to the capital unless she sent a secret summons.
A secret summons.
And she promised she'd handle things herself in a few months. So boom, that performance effectively locked her in as that crucial internal master, actively working for them inside the palace.
Okay, so internal master secured. What was the second strategy Yuan Shu cooked up? Who is the next big target?
The second strategy was about getting powerful external allies. Yuan Shu knew they needed a top minister, someone whose opinion held massive weight with the emperor himself.
Makes sense.
Their target was Yang Su, the senior Grand Secretariat. Hugely powerful figure. But the approach was clever, it was indirect. They started with his brother, Yang Yu, who was less powerful but still influential.
Interesting. Why go through the brother first?
It shows they understood that sometimes, going through a trusted connection intermediary is way more effective than tackling the main target head on, especially if that target might be resistant.
Right. Now, the way they won over Yang Yu sounds particularly interesting. How did Yuan Shu approach him? It wasn't just straightforward bribery, was it?
No, far from it. Yuan Shu visited Yang Yu, bringing these incredibly lavish gifts, rare ancient bronzes, beautiful jade chess sets, gold wine vessels, lots of stuff from Yangzhou, famous for its craftsmanship.
Okay, standard rich gifts.
But here's the clever bit. Yuan Shu played chess with Yang Yu and deliberately lost several games. The text says he lost more than half of his own treasures back to Yang Yu in the process.
He let him win. Why?
It was a calculated move. It wasn't just about the gifts, it was about softening Yang Yu up, making him feel indebted, flattering his ego, making him feel smart all at once. It's like social engineering, Build rapport before you make the big ask.
Very subtle. So after the gifts and the ego boost, what was Yuan Shu's actual pitch to Yang Yu? How did he convince him to get involved?
Once Yang Yu was feeling good, Yuan Shu laid out this carefully crafted argument. He warned him, basically, that his brother Yang Su's current power and wealth, not eternal, not guaranteed.
Okay, been playing on insecurity.
Exactly. He painted this really vivid picture of danger if Crown Prince Yang became emperor. He suggested Yang's own buddies, guys like Yonding Sing and Tang Ling's, would muscle the Yang brothers out, leaving them totally vulnerable.
Ouch.
Then came the clincher. Yuan Shu presented Prince Jin taking the throne as the path to eternal and lasting wealth. He contrasted their current situation, a peril like an egg piled on top of each other, super precarious, with the future under Jin's security like Mount Tai, solid as a rock.
That's a powerful image, appealing straight to survival and greed. How did Yang Yu take it?
He was completely sold. That mix of flattery, fear, and ambition worked. He agreed to talk to his brother Yang Su, and Yang Yu turned out to be pretty manipulative himself.
Oh, really? How did he approach Yang Su?
He didn't just barge in saying, "We need to back Prince Jin." No, he started by acting really distressed. Then he revealed this supposed threat, claiming he'd heard Crown Prince Yang had threatened to kill this old thief, referring to Yang Su himself.
Whoa, he made up a direct threat.
It seems so, or at least heavily exaggerated something. He tied it to some past incident involving a transfer Yang Su had overseen. A brilliant move, right? Making it personal, making it about immediate danger to his brother.
Absolutely. How did Yang Su react to that? Did he believe it?
Well, Yang Su apparently dismissed it at first, said the Crown Prince wouldn't dare, but Yang Yu didn't let it go. He kept subtly pressing, emphasizing the long-term danger to their whole family if Yang became emperor.
Persistent.
Very. He didn't tell Yang Su what to conclude. He just carefully laid out all the potential risks, the vulnerabilities, guiding Yang Su's own thinking until Yang Su arrived at the right conclusion himself.
Letting him feel like it was his own idea.
Exactly. That indirect persuasion again.
So what was the conclusion? The realization Yang Su came to?
Yang Su eventually concluded that trying to appease the Crown Prince wouldn't work, and just stepping back wouldn't guarantee safety either. The only way to be safe, and maybe even gain more influence, was to get rid of the Crown Prince and put someone else, implicitly, Prince Jin, on the throne. Yeah, and apparently Yang Su was really impressed by his brother's wisdom in figuring this out. And significantly, he acknowledged how crucial the Empress's support was in making this possible. The pieces were definitely falling into place.
Powerful external allies now basically locked in. It just shows, doesn't it? Sometimes the winning arguments aren't about right and wrong, but just pure self-interest.
Sad, but often true in these power games. Survival is a powerful motivator.
Okay, on to the third prong of Yuan Shu's master plan. Setting up a frame-up using an insider. Why was having someone on the inside so vital?
An insider was absolutely crucial because it meant they could potentially fabricate a major crime from within the Crown Prince's own trusted circle. That would make any accusation look incredibly believable, almost undeniable.
Right, it wouldn't look like an outside attack. How do they find their guy?
Yuan Shu's intelligence network must have been good. He found out about a man named Ji Wei, who was a favored retainer, someone close to the Crown Prince. And crucially, Ji Wei happened to be friends with an acquaintance of Yuan Shu's, a guy named Duan Da.
Ah, the personal connection again.
Exactly. It highlights how important that deep intelligence and those personal networks are in these kinds of plots. They didn't just want an insider. They needed a trusted one, someone perfectly placed.
So once Ji Wei was identified, what was the plan? How did they intend to, well, turn him?
This is where the straightforward calculated bribery comes back in. Yuan Shu gave gold and jewels to his acquaintance, Duan Da, with instructions to give them to Ji Wei.
And the instructions for Ji Wei were?
The instructions were clear, but also kind of open-ended. Ji Wei was told to observe the Crown Prince's movements very carefully, and then when the time was right, to act in a certain way.
Act in a certain way. Vague.
Deliberately vague, it seems. The text uses this phrase, mijidao, lin kiru, which basically means secretly instructed him. When the time comes, do thus and thus. It implies specific instructions were given for a future action, but doesn't detail them.
So plant the seed of betrayal now, activate it later.
Precisely. Along with the bribe came the explicit promise of huge future wealth and status once Prince Jin was in power. Duan Da took the deal, agreeing to get Ji Wei on board to monitor the Crown Prince, just waiting for the signal.
That's actually quite chilling. Planting a mole for a future unspecified setup shows incredible long-term planning.
It really does. It wasn't about an immediate betrayal. It was about setting the stage, having that weapon ready for when it would cause the maximum damage.
Okay, what's really striking when you lay it all out is how these three different threads working the Empress's emotions, bringing the ministers on board through fear and bribes, planting the insider, how they weren't separate schemes. How did they all weave together?
It really was like a symphony of deception, wasn't it? Each part was carefully timed to support the others. The Empress's emotional buy-in gave them legitimacy inside the palace.
Right.
The Yang brothers, aligned through fear and ambition, provided the political muscle and justification on the outside. And Ji Wei, the mole, was the hidden fuse, ready to be lit at just the right moment to create a crisis that would seem to come from the Crown Prince himself, making any accusation stick. It shows this incredible grasp of multi-layered strategy, pulling political, emotional, and practical levers all together. Emperor Wen of Sui, founder of the dynasty. And the big issue right away is succession. Who comes next? Now, Emperor Wen, he was known to be heavily influenced by his wife, the Empress Dugu, a formidable figure.
Very formidable. And the source describes her rather pointedly.
It does. Narrow, shallow heart, and extreme jealousy. These aren't just, side notes. They become central.
Absolutely central. And crucially, the source says the emperor most feared his inner circle and most listened to his wife's words.
Imagine that. The absolute ruler, but swayed so much by the Empress, in matters of state even.
It really sets the stage, doesn't it, for manipulation?
Definitely. And enter Yang Su, cunning courtier. Knew how to play the game. He understood Empress Dugu's nature perfectly, especially her influence over Emperor Wen.
Right. He saw an opening.
And he was ready to leverage it. For his own advancement, of course.
What's significant here, I think, is how this dynamic just created this dangerous vulnerability. Her sway over the emperor meant any advice she got, especially from someone like Yang Su, who was so calculating, it could just translate directly into imperial policy. This wasn't just, pillow talk.
No, not at all. This was high-stakes politics.
Yeah.
Impacting the succession itself.
Profoundly.
So Yang Su's strategy, it was brilliant, really. Simple, effective. He starts using these inner court banquets, social events, supposedly. And he'd praise Prince Jin Yang Guang for his wisdom and filial piety.
Building him up.
Exactly. While subtly, almost invisibly, stirring up Empress Dugu against the current crown prince, Yang Yang.
And remember, these are both her sons?
Right. Sons of Emperor Wen and Empress Dugu. So Yang Su is playing this sophisticated long game, sowing doubt, discontent, right inside the family.
And you immediately see how her biases, her pre-existing feelings, were just expertly targeted. That narrow heart, the jealousy, they weren't just traits. They were weaknesses he could exploit.
He played on them perfectly.
She quickly convinced herself Yang Guang was the good son, Yang the bad one. It shows how easily even powerful people can be swayed when their emotions are manipulated.
Yeah, her conviction went deep. The source says she even secretly sent golden treasures to Yang Su.
Right, to advocate for the change. It shows how invested she became in this political coup.
So the campaign against Yang, it just intensified, relentlessly. Yang Su constantly stirred up right and wrong in front of the emperor, painting Yang in the worst light.
And he wasn't just working on the emperor directly, was he?
No, it was a full-scale operation, a smear campaign, using eunuchs, palace women,
Anyone who had the emperor's ear.
to seize opportunities to make slanderous remarks, dropping cold words and hot words, little digs about Yang's supposed flaws, at every turn.
It's that chilling idiom the source mentions, isn't it? Exactly.
Accumulated slander forms a mountain. 3 people claim to see a tiger. People believe it, even if it's not there.
Manufacturing reality through whispers.
Precisely. And the outcome for Yang, swift, devastating. October, Kaihuan 20, that's 600 CE, Emperor Wen issues the edict. Depose Yang as a commoner, stripped of everything.
Just like that.
And then, just a month later, November, Prince Yang Guang is formally made the new crown prince.
A personal tragedy, really, born from pure calculation.
But the cost, it wasn't just for the princes.
No, the source is pretty grim about that. 2 officials, Yuan Min and Yang Xiaozheng, they actually dared to speak out against Yang Su.
Brave but foolish in that court.
They were all executed. It shows the ruthlessness. No dissent allowed when the empress backed a faction.
Opposing someone like Yang Su, so well connected, it could literally cost you your life.
Meanwhile, Yang Su. He was just pleased his own wealth and glory could last long. Cold, transactional power.
And Yang Guang, the new crown prince, he knew exactly what he had to do.
Play the part.
Immediately moved into the Forbidden Garden, served his parents with extreme filial piety, showering them with attention, respect.
Exactly what Emperor Wen wanted to see. Delighted him, the source says.
He played the perfect son, the very virtues used to depose his brother.
So this reshuffling, it really shows Empress Dugu's power. Her influence was immense.
But that influence, so potent in politics, it was also fueled by this intense jealousy. The source calls it heaven-born.
Innate. Inescapable, almost.
Yeah. Despite the palace being full of, concubines, beautiful women, flowers and brocades.
Emperor Wen could only look.
Only got to look, not one was allowed to enjoy his favor. Her jealousy was like an iron cage around the whole household.
Wow.
Then, one day, this rare chance comes up. Empress Dugu falls slightly ill, recuperating.
A window of opportunity.
Emperor Wen seizes it. Momentary freedom from her watchful eye, he secretly ventures into the palaces.
Like a prisoner on temporary release.
Almost, yeah. Desperate for a moment of personal freedom.
It's quite something, isn't it? The all-powerful emperor, ruler of an empire, so constrained by his wife's jealousy, he has to sneak around for a moment of pleasure.
It really highlights her power.
Oh.
Not just over policy, but his private life. Her will was paramount, even for the Son of Heaven.
Incredible.
So he's wandering through these halls, ends up in Renshaw Palace. And fate, well, it intervenes, tragically. He sees a young palace maid, Mrs. Yuchi, rolling up a pearl curtain.
And she's described as incredibly beautiful.
Oh yeah, evocative language. Flower-like face, moon-like beauty, 3 feet of spring windflower, 1 ball of white snow. Pure, delicate beauty.
In this very dangerous world.
He asks her, why haven't I seen you before? And she reveals her situation. Granddaughter of Yuchi Hui, from a prominent family once.
But fallen on hard times, presumably.
Right. After entering the palace, she says, Her Majesty, the Empress, ordered me to be kept here, not allowed to enter or leave.
Yep, kidding.
So I have never attended His Majesty. Emperor Wen, he's delighted, tells her, well, the Empress isn't here. You can act freely.
Oh.
He has dinner with her, stays the night, wakes up the next morning full of joy. He exclaims, Today I truly know the joy of being an emperor.
Famous last words.
Almost. He adds, but I only fear what the Empress will do if she finds out. He knew the risk. But that moment of pleasure, it overshadowed the fear.
This just screams vulnerability, doesn't it, for people like Mrs. Yuchi, caught between the emperor's whim and the empress's, absolute wrath. No fault of her own.
No agency at all.
Just terrifyingly trapped.
And of course, Empress Dugu had spies everywhere. News travels fast in the palace.
It always does.
It reaches her. Rage rose in her heart. Fury so strong she ignores her illness. Gathers dozens of palace women. Storms fiercely towards Renshou Palace.
Like a force of nature.
And Missy Suchi is right in her path.
Oh, this is awful.
Horrific. Dugu bursts in. Calls Miss Yuchi as a demon fox, basically.
Yes, a seductress spirit.
Accuses her of bewitching the emperor's heart, disturbing the palace's elegant customs.
And Miss Yuchi.
Terrified. Pleads for her life. Says it was Emperor Wen's doing. She was just obeying.
Her plea just highlights that impossible situation. Caught between desire and wrath, no escape.
Her fate was sealed.
Her death wasn't just personal. It was a public, brutal demonstration of the Empress's power inside the court. Chilling.
Dugu was unmoved. Reportedly snarled, "You enjoyed yourself last night. Why didn't you ask him to spare your life then?"
Krill.
Orders her women to beat Missy Yuchi, who is described as delicate and frail.
She wouldn't have stood a chance.
Perished quickly. The source includes this really poignant poem about it. Hoy's Duel saying, entering the palace and gaining favor is also sorrowful.
Today's withered flower bloomed yesterday.
One night's passion can't be held, soon accompanying white bones to the underworld.
Heartbreaking. So unjust. Caught in the crossfire.
Emperor Wen returns from court, expecting, to see Mrs. Yuchi again. Instead, he finds Empress Dugu frowning with fury.
And Mrs. Yuchi's body.
Yeah. Withered flower, eclipsed moon, bloodied, lying on the ground. A shocking sight.
His reaction, it was extreme.
Completely. Greatly enraged. Doesn't say a word. Mounts a horse, rushes out of the palace gates.
Intending to what? Abandon everything.
To abandon the empire and run into the mountains. That's what the source says.
Wow. More than just anger over Miss Yuchi, maybe years of frustration boiling over.
Possibly. Under her suffocating control. For the emperor himself to think of abandoning the throne, it shows the turmoil.
But someone stopped him.
Luckily, yes. Gao Jiang, trusted official, longtime advisor, he intercepts him, pleads with him to return.
The voice of reason.
Reminds him of the effort it took to unify the empire. Was it really worth abandoning the empire for one woman? Appealing to his duty, his legacy?
That counsel was vital. He didn't just stop him leaving.
No, he also talked him out of deposing Empress Dugu.
Right. Emphasized the risk of instability. Succession crises. Not worth it for a personal grievance, however deep.
It probably prevented a huge political crisis, even if the emotional wounds remained.
And Empress Dugu, her actions seem to have consequences for her too.
Ultimately, yes. The shock, the anger, her illness worsened, reportedly haunted by visions of Mrs. Yuchi.
Karma, perhaps.
Died within months. And the source ends this part with another poem, reflecting on her jealousy, but also looking forward, ominously.
What does it say?
Husband's a child, son a rare commodity, Sinsuji. By love, the heir is exchanged, shifting the throne.
Okay, linking the succession change to her influence.
Then, don't say with her death the root of jealousy is gone. It's on Skapa. The furnace has already brewed disaster for the world.
Wow. A chilling premonition, suggesting her actions, especially changing the heir, had already set future turmoil in motion. A disaster waiting to happen.
Exactly. So, with Empress Dugu gone, what happens to Emperor Wen in his later years?
The dynamic must have shifted completely.
It did. Her suffocating influence lifted. The palace became lonely, but also free.
Freedom he'd craved.
He immediately orders the selection of beautiful women. To fill the void, perhaps?
It's remarkable how quickly the atmosphere changed. Once so constrained, now free to seek personal contentment.
Reclaiming a part of his life that had been under siege, finally exercising his imperial privileges.
So who does he choose?
Two in particular stand out. Lady Chen, Quanhua, daughter of the last Chen emperor, described as gentle, graceful, stunningly beautiful.
The classic descriptions: sinking fish, falling geese.
Eclipsing moon, shaming flowers, all of that. And Lady Kai, wrong one.
And the emperor's reaction.
Delighted. He said, "I am old. My feelings have nowhere to go. Now that I have you two, it is enough for the enjoyment of my later years."
Finding solace, maybe?
Lady Chen especially became deeply favored. Her beauty, her gentle nature.
So life improved for him personally.
Definitely. From then on, daily banquets. A newfound ease. Felt more comfortable than when Empress Dugu was alive.
It really shows the weight of her presence, the impact of that jealousy on his daily life.
Absolutely. But the source does add a caveat.
He didn't completely neglect his duties.
Right. He was still a founding emperor, had that sense of proper conduct. Despite the new pleasures, the freedom,
He remained diligent?
Concerned himself with external political affairs, reviewed documents late into the night. He didn't just give himself over to hedonism.
Maintained some balance. Personal gratification, imperial responsibility, at least somewhat.
But even with this new comfort, this continued work, anxieties lingered.
The dream.
Yeah. One night, working late, falls asleep at his desk. Has this vivid, unsettling dream. This is where that human element, the ruler's anxiety, really comes through.
What did he see?
He's standing atop the capital city, looking out at the rivers, mountains. His empire sees 3 large trees, abundant fruit, symbols of prosperity, powerful people.
Could be either. Ambiguous.
Then he hears the sound. Water. Looks down. Raging floods, rising up to the city level, threatening everything.
Terrifying for a ruler.
Startled, he flees, wakes up in a fright. A really disquieting vision.
And dreams in imperial China were taken very seriously. As omens.
Potent omens. His interpretation reflected his own anxieties. The source says he was fond of observing minor omens and full of suspicion.
So how did he read it?
2 ways. Literal floods threatening the capital. Or, more ominously,
Individuals.
people whose names had water-related characters
Yeah.
might bring calamity to the state.
Not just superstition, then. A lens for viewing potential political threats, revealing his paranoia about stability.
The deep-seated paranoia about his hard-won empire. The dream's ambiguity, it's captured in yet another poem from the sword.
Another one. They really punctuate the narrative.
They do. Dream images are hard to decipher. Doubts and uncertainties cause worry.
Captures the feeling perfectly.
The world's raging torrents are all disastrous waters. Soon the legacy will flow east.
Ominous, indeed. Hinting at future troubles. Maybe linked to the very changes he allowed. Like the succession.